perspective from a global university, if I may say so. We have with us Mr. Dr. Dilip Nandkeolyar, Co-Vice Chancellor at Commonwealth University, London, UK. A huge round of applause for him.
I'm not very good with this. To me, this is like those who can really eat, and I'm not one of those. I would like to be amongst you all, and therefore it's easier this way. First, thank you to Souvik, Atul Bengeri, and Ms. Sangamitra. And these three speakers, I'm so honored to be there, sharing the dais with them. Particularly Mr. Sanjay Padode, because we are connected on LinkedIn and I follow him very closely. Some of the thoughts that he gives makes me think for days. What just now Prashasti has just spoken, quite a few things is something which I'm trying to sell to the present university system. There is a backing from Mr. Buddha, but I don't know whether the universities are taking it. I recently worked for some institutes in management, and their problem is not their problem is the regulators, where for the AICTE and that ranking that you talked about is so straight-jacketed. So some master it and the others don't, and those who master it beat others down. That's no way to learn. Learning can always happen when those who master it also have the humility to, communicate that. And that's not happening. I've worked in quite a few institutes and universities, and there are these stupid, I'm using the word, very strong word, for a very, respected person, bloom. Those levels and all that is not the way the world of learning is going now. Having said that, and there are institutes who insist on their course descriptor or syllabus that should be fitted in, and that's how the question should be. Learning cannot happen like that. Learning doesn't happen in straitjackets. Okay. And any institute which is trying to do this is actually sabotaging learning. They may have conducted a course, and that way when you see the way like Coursera or Udemy is doing, that's a little unstructured, but there is a structure nonetheless. So that's the way learning is anyway. Now the thing that I'm trying to talk about is also, something which, at least from the utterances, is also the vision of our national leaderships. Okay, Startup India, Stand Up India, all that kind of stuff. We probably need entrepreneurs. Mr. Padode just talked about gig economy, quoting from some of the reports that he also quoted. It seems by 2030, there will be only 7% job seekers in most of the developed countries. The rest will be gig workers. If you look at, I was looking at some statistics, I don't know from where, India, and this includes the informal economy, was at number 4 where gig working was concerned, has gone down to number 7. It's shameful to kind of compare it with some of the Pakistan and Bangladesh have overtaken this. That number 4 position goes to Pakistan now. This is solely and purely the fault of education. We train workers, call it Macaulay, call it anybody, but we will train workers, and the whole objective, can I have that? The whole objective is to create, job kind of, scenario. Good job, this package, that package, and all that. and the whole ecosystem. And this is where people like Mr. Buddha can help, where they don't educate the learners the way we are talking about. They educate the society itself. Okay, it's a whole community. We can always say that the university should go out to the community and all that, that's fine. But I'll give you an example. I come from a state, a very poor state of Bihar. One way of measuring success, like Mr. Padode asked, was happiness and all that. But one way of measuring success it's not a very good way, but it is the dowry. If I become an IS officer or a government officer, okay, there's a dowry which can run into crores. If I decide to become a businessman, the dowries will come down to a little over plus minus lakh. But if I want to become an entrepreneur, which is quite different from businessman, I'll have to get my entire village to give dowry to the girl to get married. That is the reality of India. So those dreams, those large slogans will only work when the education system goes out and educates the entire community, not just the learner, not just the skill now for educators is to ensure that there is a community kind of a learning environment, and there is what is known as respect for an entrepreneur. We teach, I'm from the management background, so we teach a lot of things, and what we teach, and those books also come out, where there have only been success stories. Or there is somebody who has failed and then he's made it. That's what we teach. For every Amitabh Bachchan, we may be having lakhs of people who have failed and are surviving in Bombay, and they are all probably being cursed by their social environment. Okay, that could be, now taking films, perhaps there are many good actors who have not made it, but there are many more good actors who have not even ventured to. So what in effect our education system, including the NEP, I read, teaches us to be afraid. Okay, and teaches us. Now, they also take into account a few routes when policy implementation comes. Eliminating things that are there, that are not there. All these are classroom and even electronic routes. But where is that social engineering happening? Where is that happening? So, this PPT, I just use it like a musician who plays a harmonium and kind of stays on one course. The problem with lecturers is that we can go on and go in various directions. So I like to control myself like this. So these are the things that actually are the thing. First, government must enable. So policies are in place. There would of course be need for correction, etc. Educational institutions I just talked about have to look at the larger picture. Basically, whatever I've seen, every institution I've seen, when the marketing goes out, our average packet is this, our highest is this, period. And tum aao to sahi, we will do it. It becomes a commercial activity. Alright, being banya is right, but being an ethical banya is the right one, not the unethical one. Okay. I believe, and since we have AICTE here in audience, I'm honored. I believe the way to do the UP would be to modularize the education. Let me tell you what I mean. Like if somebody was interested in learning marketing, end to end, everything. Do it in 2-3 months. Just that. And then give him a certificate if he wants to exit out of an MBA class, exit. But he has a certificate, so he can, once he goes into the work life, all these apprenticeship, internship and all that, probably according to me are archaic. According to me, there are so many wise people and you can always contest it and we can always debate it here. But archaic. Let him get into the swimming pool to know whether he should do breaststroke or butterfly stroke. Now, if he realizes that he needs to do breaststroke, then what are the muscles he must? So he comes back to his MBA program, takes that. That's what lively micro-credentials are all about. Right? Now, you can, when regulating, you can say, this person to earn an MBA must have so many credits. Okay? But it should be able to. So that's what broadly MEP thought is. But the implementation looks a little this thing. So I would say that we should do that. But while doing that, say suppose a full MBA program is, how are we engaging the other stakeholders? Parents, family, friends. You know, wherever I go, how am I going to be looked at? That's how I decide my career. That's how I decide whatever I do. So that's what it is the role that education institutions, including the electronic ones, need to think of. Then industry, business associations, networking, etc., etc. Entrepreneur, again, I'm telling you, if 7% only are going to remain, it's like if somebody is here from South, there is this place called, when I was writing my PhD, the place that affected me most and probably influenced my entire thesis was a place called Tirupur. It is basically a conglomerate of gig workers. That is the model, and we have it in India. The tragedy is that our education leaders haven't seen it. That is the model that has to be spread all over the country. That's the model that we need to do and make relevance out of things. And that is the model that can go global, because Tirupur is global. Ludhiana was supposed to be the hosiery capital. Go absolutely to the other end of South and they have overtaken. We were the textile capital. My last visit to Bangladesh, I realized what they did. This is what. They jumped into the thing, learned from whatever, and they realized that they need this skill. The educational institutions must sell that. They must sell that, look, you're doing a good job, but the world is advancing this way, you need to come back. You know, this lifelong learning that Mr. Padode talked about after giving the degree should be really that. Right, sir? So, entrepreneurship, now I'm saying entrepreneurship education should not be only built into professional courses. Let's say a history course, let's say a geography course. Everything must be around that. Because to me, what is an entrepreneur? Or anybody would like to say. For me, he's not the one who can only take the risk and all that. For me, an entrepreneur is somebody who has faith in himself and he believes that he can make his social environment a better place. And therefore, he goes on picking up skills from place to place. So, if let's say we have a history student, he does contribute, but he doesn't have all the powers to risk it out on his own or go flat out. A geography student, he doesn't do anything. So that's what I meant by entrepreneurship education. Actually, this is standard thing. Industry collaboration, not to do this apprenticeship or internship, that if you want, go ahead. But industry collaboration, like what Coursera has done, that's gone one step ahead. of looking forward to what skills are coming. One, and then going back to educational institutions, including the electronic ones, to say, let's do this. Okay. All the time, keeping one thing, that we are actually going to train an entrepreneur, not a job seeker. All the time, that should be the objective. An entrepreneur can always switch back to becoming a job seeker, but a job seeker cannot become an entrepreneur. There is so much fear of, the comfort zone, that it doesn't happen. And India, if we have to reach that 5 trillion or whatever, 52 trillion, we need risk takers. Okay. That is not happening. So all this, now the most important thing, all the three speakers talk a hell of a lot about automation and AI and this large language model. The one thing that cannot be taken away, in my imagination, I might be wrong, for maybe at least next 100 years, you can create, but it can't be, is the heart, the emotion. Okay, that cannot be taken away from us human beings. So let us remove the drudgery and give it to them and create that emotional support, or create atmospheres for entrepreneurs to create emotional, humane, empathetic enterprise. Small level, big level, that will depend. That depends on how far the person is willing to go. The last one is also very important, that is celebrating even a minor success. If he got one order, or if he did something right, it's not just celebrating with just 2 drinks, it's like making it an affair. Okay, this, what we must do, expand access to quality skilling. Again, let me tell you what I mean by that. The access is not only for the students or the learners, the whole family. Okay, this is available, so anybody interested can. Can we play this link? This is what I'll leave you with, and if there are any questions.
Sir, if you permit, I just want to add one small thought to Professor.
Once upon a time, business as usual was often good enough. No more. Where we are going, good enough is dead. In a world where everything is connected, where everything is equally excellent, where performance is reaching perfection, there's only one space left to innovate in: you. Right now, you are a central point in the raging tornado of change fueled by digitization, mobilization, augmentation, disintermediation, automation. Well, the list goes on. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Think about self-driving cars or computers that can learn and think. The way we work will never be the same. The skills we need will be dramatically different. Winning or losing are now happening faster than ever before. So what's your response? How will you discover new opportunities in one of the most transformational times in human history? Are you driving change, or are you being driven by it? Disruption has become the new normal. With change, it's always gradually, then suddenly, well, things really have stopped happening gradually. This change is exponential. Everything that used to be dumb and disconnected is now wired and intelligent. Cars, cities, ports, farms, even our bodies will be wired with sensors and will talk to each other. These game changes are also combinatorial. They amplify each other, creating a perfect storm of change. Quantum computing fuels big data. The Internet of Things fuels artificial intelligence and deep learning, which fuels robotics. However, anything that cannot be digitized or automated will become extremely valuable. Human-only traits such as creativity, imagination, intuition, emotion, and ethics will be even more important in the future, because machines are very good at simulating, but not at being. Yes, robots and software will do some of our work, but this will allow us to focus on things that cannot be automated. To imagine change squared, you've got to start engaging more with what might be, not just with what is. Immerse yourself in the immediate future, 5 to 7 years out from today. We need to go beyond technology and data to reach human insights and wisdom. Technology represents the how of change, but humans represent the why. The future is about holistic business model. The opportunity is to be liquid, to learn just in time, not just in case, not single improvements, but complete transformations, not individual systems, but new ecosystems. Humanity is where true and lasting value is created. We will engage, rate, and buy things because of the experiences they provide, because of their transformative power. The future doesn't just happen, the future gets happened. The new way to work is to embrace technology, but not to become it. The future is in technology, yet the bigger future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead from here.
Great, sir. Yes, sir. Your question.
It's not a question, basically it's a clarification, sir. I would like to thank, we as humans have different thoughts, and I appreciate your thoughts on NEP, but I would like to put one point straight, because when I was a kid, I used to see one ad. That ad says that, rank 1, 2, mera bachcha, mera school mein bachcha, first, second, third, we all remember, right? Abhi NRF ka bhi yahi situation. We got a better accreditation, 3.85, 3.9, is God knows what it really means. So we learned the lesson. So now we are changing that entire accreditation NRF ranking system into a binary system. Whether accredited yes or no. So what happens is, because this created a competition instead of inclusiveness. So it needs to be inclusive. So that's the beauty of this NEP 2020, sir. It is learning. We are also learning. We are adopting, So now what you said, I'm taking it a positive, I have taken notes. Immediately I thought, I thought of updating you that we learned lessons and we are changing this entire process to a binary system where it simply says accredited or not accredited. I think this way what happens, now we are not only not competing with other institutes, internationally, how we can improve the quality of our education. This is where the focus is going to be. And one last thing, I just want to add what ma'am said, because ma'am, I completely understand the world is changing and most of the businesses are becoming digital in nature. But the beauty of our Indian thing is we are young demographic, but our youth are become a content creators. If you see the TikTok, right, we as Indians are most content creators than any other world. What it means, we have that capability of change management in our brain. I think I see that, this is a beautiful thing. And for the large learning models as a technology, I want to share one very interesting thing, because we are creating lot of large learning models for ourselves, and we have created a lot of translation tools which translate from English to any other Indian language and foreign languages. Just for your information, ChatGPT large learning model consumed 700 lakh water just to create the model. So that's a kind of a water consumption what we are talking about when we are creating a large learning models. And when you give any simple questions, it consumes 500 milliliters of water. Like, this bottle water it consumes if I ask a simple question to ChatGPT. So we need to, there is advantage as well as disadvantage with the technology. But having said that, we have enough water resources, we have a 7,500 kilometer coastline. We can utilize that water resource. So India can become an artificial intelligence hub. So basically, I don't see AI as an artificial intelligence. I see AI as an advanced India. it can drive India as an advanced India. So that's again, I just want to give some small, update on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dilip Nandkeolyar, Co-Vice Chancellor at Commonwealth University, London, UK, and also Dr. Chandrasekhar, Chief Coordinating Officer, AICTE, Minister of Education, Government of India, for being the special guest. Also to Mr. Sanjay, Padode, President, Chancellor, Vijaybhoomi University, and of course to Prashasti, Rastogi, Director, Coursera for Campus, for joining us in the inaugural of Transforming Education and Skills Summit, which inaugural theme was Policy, Innovation, and Employability, the changing phase of education for transformation. I'm sure what they have discussed for the last 1.5 hours have enlightened all of us, and we have got many new perspectives, practical insights, and on state of affairs, what is today, what can be 5 years down the line, and where all we can come together to make that impact, change in this education system, which is skill-oriented and employable as well. Thank you so much. A huge round of applause for them, please.